I think it's easier because you have access to information, you have access to data, you have access to tools. But then again, it is difficult because all of us have access to that.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So tell us, how was this transition when you have to park what you love and you need to start things that you really don't like, but you don't have funding, you're wearing all the hats, and if you don't do it, nobody else will do it. And that is still too, because when it comes to tech and you start to do something bigger than an MVP, you start to get into trouble because software developers are expensive, and that really quickly when you blink your eye, you can be 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. You don't even know, and the software is not even finished. So tell us how you navigate this challenge.
Yeah. So Harry, I have a different story. I mean, I don't have a typical software developer story. I actually was born in India and I was raised in a family of entrepreneurs.
Wow.
So yeah, my dad, my uncle, we used to have a family business. We had a manufacturing firm and a movie theater. And up until 17, I was in India. I did my engineering. And then, like most of the people from all over the world, after engineering or medicine, they come to the United States for their higher studies. I came as a computer science major. I went to DC, did my master's in computer science from GWU. And so business was always in my blood. And
it was, so sales and marketing was a conversation in your house anyway. Sales, marketing,
it was
tax.
a conversation, but selling something in India versus selling something in the United States is totally different, isn't it? And when I in the 90s, the sales and marketing was completely different. In 2000s, with the advent of computers, the digital media, the video players, Google Ads, all of that completely transformed the marketing landscape, completely changed it.
Yeah, pay-per-click came and nothing could beat that because you can measure
Exactly.
until the last cent, So
Right. So it was a learning curve for me as well. I did all those courses in order to understand. I did start my MBA as well at GW in order to understand marketing properly. So I don't like it, but as a CEO of the company, I try to manage my time properly.
Absolutely.
For activities which require high intensity, high focus, I try to wrap those activities in the morning time frame. All right. From 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., try to do those high focus activities so that I can make calls in the afternoon, talk to the clients. All right. Try to do the meetings in the afternoon hours so that I can have high productivity times on my calendar. During that time, I try to do like intense reading, sometimes writing the code, sometimes analyzing the code, and then all the automation which I have done around my business. I try to, if there are any issues with the automation, try to analyze that, try to fix those. So to answer your question, I always did that. It wasn't a very difficult transition, but definitely I miss those days of coding. Having said that, with the advent of ChatGPT and everything,
Yeah, That got you excited again, yeah.
I think coding has become much more
Very
enjoyable.
easy. Very,
Yeah, very
yeah.
easy.
Have
Exactly.
become really easy. Well, like a lot of things with the ChatGPT have become, with the solution have become really easy. So, here's the next question because, I mean, entrepreneurs, we are minority community, like I said. Not so many people want to have this huge risk and so much responsibility
Right.
and live the roller coaster life that we live as an entrepreneur when
Right.
sometimes we are up, sometimes we are down. And it's very interesting, yeah. You don't get bored. You are excited all the time, and you
You
always
time to get
you
bored.
exactly you
Yeah.
always have a problem to solve. So
Right. Right. Right.
sometimes more than one.
Absolutely. Always
Sometimes
more than one.
several at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's or I want to ask you the question to you. Having a growing to the family that and I was talking with the other day, regardless of any political view of anybody, I think something very positive about the family that the president that the United States now is that his father is an entrepreneur, the son is an entrepreneur, and so those kids they're being raised in a family where the conversation about sales, marketing, tax, employees, generating jobs, let's create something, let's do this project, let's create something. um, I think that for a young child, seeing the parents being an entrepreneur in some form, I think that the kids, most of the time they're showing up in a way. To give you an example, the other day I was in a 3D rendering company. So
Okay.
basically they build the business. They will the glasses, and then you can explore the whole building from inside, and you can touch
Oh, the VR headsets.
VR,
Okay.
everything. You
Okay.
can change the layout of the house how you want it. It was really, really impressive. You could walk in the house that hasn't been built yet into a flat, into the whole building, right?
Right.
And the guy was telling me that his dad was a developer and that he remembered when his dad was painting in the park, in the floor, to the
Right.
investor the actual size of the
Oh,
flat
wow.
and how the
Okay.
flat is gonna look like. He said that he vividly remembered as a kid every time
Okay.
that the investor come to talk with his dad that he needs to take the investor to the park or to a big area, and he actually had to draw how the house will be, so the investor
Right.
have an idea, and that out of the space that actually the property will have. And
Right.
now it comes the son, and is creating a virtual reality
3D.
for visiting the flat in the story actually. So the point of the story is that in a different the we call it new age of entrepreneurs. We're coming with a different in a different form. I have to say, story is different. My no one parents are no entrepreneurs. They are teachers. Yeah, I become an entrepreneur by accident, and but I enjoyed in the 17 years after that, and I'm still in the game, like I say.
Yeah.
But the idea is I think that the new entrepreneurs that are coming now, we have. Do you think that it's an advantage to be an entrepreneur now versus your dad or your family? Because I think that comes a lot of challenges. Um, the new way, like for example, when your parents have the business, advertising was completely different. It was you need to advertise. I don't know. You have to buy a physical ad. You need to I don't know to put the ad in the
Billboard and
cinema,
yeah,
billboard. For
newspapers.
example, you
Yeah.
say your parents have a cinema, so how you are not you advertise a movie when it was no pay per click. Now oh my
Right.
God, you need to go to all the bus stops and create billboard, and everything is physical. And how
Right.
measuring of marketing was back then. It seems like
Difficult.
a
It was
joke
very
now.
difficult. Yeah.
Seems like a joke now. I think sometimes in London I see those buses that people put advertising there, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking, why these guys are advertising in this thing? I don't know how they're measuring. No, they don't. I still don't. They're spending thousands of pounds to put in those ads in the buses. Nothing wrong. It works definitely for some companies. They need to put a type of QR code or website or something to visit, because otherwise there's no way that you can measure a bus with sign running up and down all
Roaming
London.
around roaming.
You know what I mean? So, what do you think? Do you think that it's more challenging to be an entrepreneur now, or is more easy versus what you saw growing up in a family?
So see, traditional business versus new age business. Isn't it like if now I have to start a manufacturing business in the US, it's out of question, isn't it? Unless I want to, let's say, start an automobile business in the US, it's out of question. If I want to, because China, Mexico, all right, and India, to a certain extent, are the manufacturing hubs, isn't it? But if I want to do a startup in Silicon Valley, all right, it's easier. If I want to a technology startup or a biomedical startup or a biotechnology startup, or for that matter, a fintech, it's easier. But then again, the other school of thought is because the barrier to enter is low, there is a lot of competition, isn't it? Once upon a time,
and a lot of failing rate.
High failure rate because of the competition. Once upon a time, a teacher's son became a teacher. A doctor's son became a doctor. All right. An engineer's son became an engineer. But now, in the new age, engineers' sons are becoming entrepreneurs. So in a way,
teachers' sons. I'm a son of teachers. I'm an entrepreneur.
Exactly. So because they have realized that I don't want to work for the rest of my life at a fixed salary and not be able to change the world. I want to make an impact on the world. I'm not happy with my 9 to 5 job and a limited income. I want to see the world. I want a broader perspective. And that's why people are becoming entrepreneurs, not just for money, but the freedom and that vision which they have. And you know why? Because the world has shrunk as well. Once upon a time, your world was around you, books, all right, and what you were taught in the school. Now you can visit anywhere and anywhere through internet, isn't it? With the mom, do you want to see how New York City looks during Christmas? And she's like, we are not going to New York City. I'm like, wait for a minute. Let me get this VR headset, put it on you, all right? And you will feel like you are in New York City. And she enjoyed that experience using the VR headset. So the world has shrunk. People are seeing more things on the internet and realizing, oh, this is achievable. Oh, this can be done. So to a certain extent, I think it's easier because you have access to information, you have access to data, you have access to tools. But then again, it is difficult because all of us have access to that. You know what I mean? So, it's a tricky question to answer.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.